Hey, and welcome to another exciting edition of the iTech Show. I am Jared Bodine,
I'm Asher Ridenauer.
and we are here for recording from our homes again because Asher keeps on coming up with these weird fake excuses that I don't understand.
I had a family emergency yesterday.
You said, yeah, but you can't use that excuse every week. You have to
I
start
didn't.
freshening it up.
It was my doctor's appointment last time, or I think it was technically my dentist.
It's always something with you.
Hey,
Always.
I have technically I have to go to the dentist once every 4 months instead of 6.
Oh yeah, because you don't brush your teeth ever.
I brush my teeth 3 times a day.
Do you really? That's a lot.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know. Drink more milk. You got to do something.
Drink more milk.
Yeah, that'll help. Anyway, well, let's talk about some of the exciting news going on. First, how was your 2026 Prime Day? How was that?
I'm trying to think that I bought. Oh yeah, I bought these Thermaltake fans.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, they're for a PC I'm building.
Nice.
Or actually, it's built. It's easier to sell stuff when it has RGB fans.
Everything sells better with RGB.
It really does. Also, it runs faster.
Well, yeah, everyone knows the RGB makes your computer faster. I mean, that's the only reason to get one.
It's not RGB. A gaming computer if you don't have RGB.
It's sadly true. And the funny thing is, most people that do RGB, they got to have the rainbow color. They don't pick one color. The idea of RGB, I don't think, was ever meant to be the rainbow. I think the idea was you can pick what other color scheme you want, but it always ends up being the full color because otherwise people don't know it's RGB. You can't just pick a static color.
Yeah. This is actually a tip to anybody that, because I did see this on Prime Day when I was buying the fans. Make sure you buy a RGB and not just RGB.
Well, yeah, because a RGB is assignable.
I think it's technically addressable.
Oh, addressable. Okay, yeah. But yes.
It means you can change stuff, change it to be...
It means you have the right kind of control over it. Yeah.
Yeah, otherwise you're just going to end up with a red, green, or blue fan.
Well, RGB...
Well, I think you can do R3, right?
Yeah, but the problem is that means you can't synchronize it with your system, and it can't synchronize all the other stuff unless it's ARGB.
Yeah.
So you've made that mistake, I guess.
I made it once.
So what is your color scheme on your personal system?
Believe it or not, I actually don't have one.
You have a personal system.
Yeah, but I don't have any. You know what my personal system's in?
Oh, it's one of those
server rack.
Dells. Yeah.
No, it's a server rack.
Okay.
I got rid of that one. I did make a Dell Optiplex. That was pretty dope though.
I'm looking at my computer now, and yeah, I'm doing the rainbow thing.
You're doing rainbow? Oh yeah, yours is a wall mount, huh?
It is. Yeah, there's no case. It's just the motherboard on a wall mounted thing, like a picture frame. I love it. It's so easy to tinker with.
Yeah, I bet. That'd be nice for a test bench.
It cools well. I can do anything I want with it. And I try and make sure that if I ever do upgrades, every motherboard I've had has a power button on the MOBO. So I don't have to worry about a case with the power button.
That makes sense.
That's how you roll. So this year for Prime Day, I got nothing. And it was fantastic.
Weren't you just about to make fun of me for getting nothing?
No.
Although, you know what's kind of weird? For Prime Day, I don't know why I did this for Prime Day. I 3D printed stuff.
Here, I'll show you one. Day? Is Prime Day a holiday that you 3D print for?
I don't think so regularly, but
it's ironic that you printed something to hold your print filament.
Yeah, it also, you can't see it on the camera, but it says PLA right here, and you can switch them out for the different type of plastic. It's actually a really solid build, though. I gotta give it props. A little bamboo A1 with the AMS light.
That's a pretty big print bed. That's a big print job.
It took 13 hours.
Well, that's a lot. Yeah.
Honestly, it's not as bad as you think though for
Well,
how solid it is.
you've got a lot of empty space there, obviously, because it's just a rack,
Yeah.
it's just a holder. It's like the old milk crates, but specifically set to hold your rolls of filament. So yeah,
Yeah.
nice. All right,
I don't know
not
why
bad.
that made me print stuff on Prime Day.
My wife wanted me to get her a juicer for Prime Day, and
Really?
yeah, and I looked at it. The one that she wanted was on sale, but it's like it was what they call a whitelisted device. So it's like one of these like Chinese manufacturers that will make something and then they'll put anyone else's brand on there for them.
Oh, okay. I
A
know what
white
you're
label.
saying.
They call it a white label. And I looked into it and it didn't look that good. And I'm like, well, if I'm going to do this, I might as well get a decent one. And sure enough, I went onto some AI chatbots and asked for recommendations and links. And I went down a rabbit hole. And by the time I finally figured out what I wanted to get, Prime Day was over.
Mm.
So,
Oh, you know what? I did buy something. I don't know how I forgot this. Well, I didn't buy it for Prime Day. It was like 2 days after, but it still had the same deal going on. Finally made the switch to an OLED monitor.
okay.
So I went from a
It's
one.
expensive.
Yeah. We should probably explain what OLED is and the different type of panel
Do it.
tech. Well, from my understanding, I might get. It's been a while since I've done this. Okay, so there's different panels. There's LCDs, or are they technically LEDs? No, it'd be LCD, right? Like IPS, TN, VA.
LED and LCD both use the same technology of pixels. They just have different backlighting.
Yeah. So I think it's technically an LCD, but there's IPS, TN, and VA. And if I'm getting these terms right, IPS is the one has the best color accuracy. However, the response time's a little slower. Is it TN in the middle or is it VA? I think it's TN, right?
Twisted Pneumatic is what it stands for, in case you forgot, which I think you did.
Yeah, I definitely forgot. I don't even remember what IPS stands for.
In plane switching.
Yeah, see that. But that one is like the middle, and then there's VA, which is the complete opposite of IPS. So it's fast, but the color looks horrible. Most monitors you buy, are going to be IPS, and they're by long response time, it's like a millisecond.
Yeah, but this is stuff that only matters to hardcore gamers or people who really have to worry about video. I think the average everyday consumer for their home computer,
IPS.
I don't think it matters.
I mean, nah, it would matter with TN or I mean VA.
Because
like you're gonna have horrible looking color. Like I've seen side by sides and it does not look. It looks washed out.
Yeah.
But and then OLEDs is just like all three of them combined, but it has a shorter lifespan.
Right. So, I mean, OLED though. So, but you didn't really talk about LCD versus OLED and stuff.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Because OLED isn't any of those.
No, OLED's its own thing where it lights up each pixel individually instead of having one big light. So
Yeah.
black is actually black, whereas on like an LCD panel, it's like gray/blue usually.
So with LED, that's light emitting diode. And with the original flat screen monitors, we called them LCDs, and they use liquid crystal displays, just like the original digital watches used to use. But those were, black and white. They figured out how to make that color, but they didn't illuminate on their own. So what they did is they put in backlighting on those old LCDs, liquid crystal displays, but they were backlit with filament tubes, like the same kind you have in your office, like overhead lights. It's little miniature versions of those built into the monitor. And those are okay, but they don't produce very good blacks because you could put a black pixel, but it's being backlit by a filament light, or a fluorescent light. That fluorescent tube, I mean, there's still light bleeding through that black pixel. So, and it used a lot of energy. That was another big problem. You had to have an inverter to convert so AC power is coming out of your wall, going into your laptop. The laptop needs to be converted to DC, which is the point of that power brick that you get with a laptop. And then the inverters run on AC. So you had, or the lights had AC. So you had to have another inverter built into your laptop to convert that DC back to AC just for the backlights. It was stupid. So then we finally got to the LED situation where LEDs could backlight it. LEDs take a lot less power and they're lighter. So they were much better. And so those would be backlit. Also, the old filament style tubing, they had to be around the edges. LED lighting could have the LEDs directly behind the liquid crystal displays. So you could have a more evenly lit screen, and it could be even brighter without having to use more power. Great thing. But you still had that issue with the backlight. Blacks would not be black enough because you'd have a black pixel, but light's coming out from behind it. And so then they came out with OLED, which is what you got, organic light emitting diode, where each pixel creates its own light, kind of like how fireflies work, where they light up their own tail. So that is a really good way to go, because then when that pixel is meant to be black, it'll just turn off the light for that pixel. Every pixel is individually lit. I mean, that is fantastic. But super expensive technology. It is susceptible to that like burn-in effect that you used to have to worry about with plasma TVs and some other technology, and crazy expensive compared to standard LED lights. And actually, what I'm kind of finding is the gap in quality between OLED and LED backlit TVs it's narrowing. They're getting so good. Like you get this stuff called quantum dot LEDs now. Have you heard of these?
Yeah.
They can do things where now the pixels can get smaller, and instead of having an array of LEDs that are backlit that are always on, now they can turn on and off regions of the pixels of the backlighting LEDs. They can dim the LEDs or turn LEDs completely off. So now you're getting that backlight disappearing that you've kind of needed or wanted when you were doing, what you got with OLEDs. So I'm just saying, like, even though I currently have an OLED on my TV in my movie room, I'm kind of thinking a really high-end LED is going to cost you less, and it's going to be as good, really, or just about as good.
Yeah, well, it wasn't a TV. It's a gaming monitor.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. But, yeah, I get what you mean. I will say OLEDs have come a long way, too, with the burn-in, though. Because it used to be bad. And now the burn-in is like they have pixel shift and all of that stuff. But
that other thing too is, like you said, they have a lot of other cool technologies to help with that. And unless you're one of those people that has your TV on like one of those news channels like CNN, where you have the bottom ticker on all day, you're probably not going to see that burn-in the life of the TV anyway. It's just for places where you have that TV, or like if you use it for a security camera. We had in my classroom for years, we had an old tube television set.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Remember that? And you could see it still had a burn-in of a parking lot. Because it was used for a security.
Oh, that's right.
And it had a security camera that was showing a parking lot. And that one TV had been used for that one image in the static camera position for so many hours, it was permanently burned into the television.
Yeah, I mean, like, just the whole monitor thing is kind of like crazy how all of that works. Because then there's also those ones, like the older ones, where you had that panel that turned it from looking like white light into like an actual image. You remember when you showed us that?
Well, that was LED lights. They have a lot of layers, and all those layers add up. And that was really cool. You could like twist one layer sideways because the way it was polarized, and the image would just like disappear. Just crazy cool stuff.
Yeah, basically anything with display is pretty like just crazy that it works. Because like when you're talking OLED, you're on like a standard game, like a gaming LCD or LED monitor. The closest you're really gonna get is like I've seen 0.7 milliseconds from but standard is like 1 milliseconds, which none of this matters, by the way, because your brain is not going to respond that fast.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think people worry too much about some of those features that you're not going to notice. Not really.
I mean, on my OLED, it's 0.03 milliseconds is the latency. So it's like,
Wow, that's
yeah.
fast.
It's also 240 hertz.
Speaking of monitors, I think it was like maybe a month or two ago, we talked about the iPhone Fold is likely coming out. Have you seen what Samsung is looking to put out in the next year for their new screen type technology?
Maybe. I saw it for like a second, I think, but I don't really know much about it.
It's the rollable flex monitor.
Yes. Yep. Did you see when Lenovo tried it?
Yeah. But this, I think Samsung, they're known as like they're the screen people. So I think it's going to be better on the Lenovo world, and they're really going to follow through with it because they were the first ones that had a real foldable phone on the market too.
Yeah.
And so I saw an image of it, not even recently, like years ago. But it's for those who are trying to picture what a foldable or rollable, it's not folding, it's rolling. I think of measuring
like
tape.
A scroll. Oh,
like,
I was going to say scroll.
Yeah, like you know how like measuring tapes work, where it's like coiled and it just rolls out when you pull out the measuring tape. That's what the screen does. It just rolls out from the phone. It's pretty cool looking. I mean, you can get a small cell phone and it'll roll out to the size of an entire tablet.
See, like that would break the market. Also, you said Lenovo earlier. Just to clarify, you meant Samsung.
Oh, well, Lenovo and Samsung both have that same style technology. But yeah,
they do.
It's Samsung that's reportedly coming out with a phone in the next year that'll have that. That's rumors. I don't know.
You know what's funny about Samsung? That's the monitor I got. I got a G6 Odyssey.
Samsung makes good monitors, but I think people are sleeping on LG displays.
No, I like LG. I do like LG. They just weren't on sale, or else I would have bought an LG. You know who people sleep on too? Because they're overpriced? Asus. I will say, I've seen some good Asus panels.
Yeah.
Now, that's like more gaming than anything, but...
But yeah, I think, again, like, the display technology you're talking about is monitors, but that translates to televisions and home theaters, and Asus is just not in that market, whereas Samsung and LG are big in both displays and home TVs.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think LG looks better to a point on big TVs than Samsung, but Samsung is the screen people. Like, they're just known for it.
And a lot of people just think, well, you get a Samsung TV when you have the money. But I tell my customers, if you're getting a big screen OLED, LG is actually the go-to.
Yeah.
I mean, they really are. If you really look at it, all the specs and all the details, I would say get an LG big screen OLED TV if you got the money.
I mean, if you're affording anything OLED, then you definitely have some money there.
Well, how much did your monitor cost you?
Like $350.
How big is it?
27.
Well, that's not horrible. That's pretty good.
For sale, yeah, that's not bad. 240 hertz with a OLED. I will say, what?
Would you be interested in a scroll style display? Is that something that you would do?
1000%.
Yeah?
Yeah, because okay, so I've played on like a 32-inch and a bigger, and I just don't like going that big because then you're like, instead, like specifically for gaming, because then you're like looking from one corner of the screen to the other instead of like being able to just use your full peripheral vision. Yeah. But if you go with like, like a smaller panel, you can see the whole thing. So I prefer those panels, but if you could just like scroll it out whenever you want to watch a movie and then scroll it back in whenever you want to play games, I would 1000% buy that.
Okay. Well, all right. I mean,
especially in the mobile device space too.
You're still Android then? Team Android?
No, I'm not. I'm team if Android got good enough. But right now, I'm iPhone.
Because I don't think iPhone's coming out with a scrollable screen. Yeah, if you want it, you're gonna have to go Android.
I know, and I don't know about that one.
Yeah. Well, have you heard about one of the scandals that Apple has going on right now?
What?
So, being an Apple user, you know about the feature that if you're on a website and asks you to fill out an email for a form or something, there's a feature you can do hide my email.
Yeah, and then it uses some random email that
Mm-hmm.
redirects to yours. Yeah.
Well, apparently there is a tool that you can use to expose, or there's a bug in there that people can exploit now to reveal your actual email address.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's currently a problem that Apple's trying to fix.
Yeah, I can see why they'd want to fix that. That's kind of a big thing for security.
Yeah. So if you rely on Apple to hide your email address using that feature, watch out.
I never do that anyways because I don't really. My email has already been compromised before, but I was like, I have 2FA, so a lot of the times they don't get fully into it.
Yeah.
And then it's password. If you don't have 2FA, two-factor authentication, where like it sends a code to your phone or something, you're messing up. In 2026, even though it's a giant pain in the butt, worth it.
Yeah, I mean, I do. I have two-factor authentication turned on, or multi-factor on pretty much everything at this point. Because
Same.
But if you have it set up right and you have the right hardware, facial recognition, fingerprint readers, it's not that bad if you have biometric as that second factor. Because then you just look at your phone or just touch your finger to something and you're in. It's not that bad of an extra add-on, I think.
Yeah, I mean, and even like with a text or something, like really, especially if you're on Mac, they make it pretty seamless. Like, I don't know if you've tried it. On Mac, it's like they send a code to your phone and then you just put your finger on the fingerprint reader and it'll just autofill it.
One of the ones that slows me down, and you've seen this when we're setting up to do our show, because we stream on YouTube as well, is when I sign into my YouTube account, it has my multi-factor authentication and it sends a code to one of my devices. Problem is, sometimes it sends it to my YouTube app. Sometimes it wants to send it to a Gmail app. Sometimes it wants to send it to an iPad or an iPhone. And for a while, because I had a Pixel, it was sending it to my Pixel. And then it would send the code to my Pixel after I got rid of my Pixel.
Yeah, it does that with me because I have a Samsung tablet. And I literally never use it. I like only use it for testing stuff out. And it for some reason that's set as the primary device that it sends the code to. I don't know why. Because
it's Google and it's an Android device. But it's really frustrating. And now usually I've noticed that most of the time I can open up that same app on a different device, not the one it says, because it is all linked. If I'm signed in on my iPhone and it says check my Pixel, I usually can still get into my iPhone and do it. I may have to send the request again. But I'm wondering how many months do I have to have that stupid Android out of my life before Google stops trying to send the code there? I removed my account from the phone. I wiped it completely, gave it back to my friend, who has since reset up that same phone. So MAC addresses and all that are still there. Google should know that phone is now in use by someone else and signed in by someone else. Why is it still trying to send my two-factor authentication to that phone?
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know why they do that.
It's inexcusable is what it is.
It is. It wastes a lot of time. Have you seen the whole so there's been some big stuff with like RAM and all that lately. Have you seen any of that?
You mean the lawsuit?
Yeah, with all three of them?
I haven't heard much. I mean, I just heard about it. Tell me more.
I heard a little bit about it. Here, let's get the full scoop here. So basically, while I'm typing this out, all three of the main manufacturers that do like 90% of the RAM for the world is companies called SK Hynix, Samsung, and Micron. Those are like the big three. There is some here and there, but none that do anything none that do anything close. So those three are the reason that this whole RAM crisis is happening, because they kind of shifted stuff away from, or at least allegedly, this is what the lawsuit's about, is that they shifted away their like consumer products and all agreed to start doing more towards like data centers and stuff, which I guess they're claiming is supply choking because they're getting rid of those
Yeah,
HBM chips.
but
But
this isn't them just creating a shortage, because my understanding is Altman and Anthropic, a lot of these companies made these huge orders that bought out their inventory. It wasn't like they purposely cut inventory down. It was that there was a huge couple of purchases that basically bought out like a third of all they had. Demand outstripped their ability. I don't think it was a conspiracy.
well, so kinda. The whole lawsuit is saying that they intentionally shifted everything from consumer over to that. All three of them decided to do that.
Yeah, but they did that because that was where the business was. They weren't doing it to
Yeah.
hurt
Well,
consumer markets.
yeah, I don't know what the lawsuit necessarily is arguing, but yeah, they do 90 to 95% of the global RAM market.
Yeah. So like a lot of people have never heard of SK Hynix, like at all. But like at AZ Strut, I participate in some of the I am involved in every aspect of what we do at some point, right?
Yeah.
And when I'm in our security cage and helping doing our data wiping and stuff, I see SK Hynix SSDs and RAM all the time. Like
Yeah.
a third of all of the stuff that comes through there is branded SK Hynix. Like it is
Yeah.
huge, and most people don't realize that that's what's inside their computer. And they don't have to know. They don't care, And Samsung is the only one of those I think that's like a household name. Everyone knows Samsung. No one knows the other two unless you are dealing with the internals of a computer.
I mean, Micron is just crucial,
Okay,
which will forever
Micron a
be
little.
missed. Forever
Crucial
will be
was,
missed.
yeah, I used to buy Crucial RAM. That was good
Crucial
stuff.
was the best. It's in my computer now. I love Crucial RAM. Okay, so here's what they're directly accusing them of: price fixing, which is artificially inflating the cost of standard consumer RAM.
Maybe.
Supply restricting, which is intentionally cutting factory production to create a false shortage.
I don't buy
And
that. I don't
buy that either.
Yeah.
And market collusion, coordinating their business moves together rather than competing honestly. But I don't get that one either.
Is there any evidence to that? Like, is there anything that shows that? Because I mean, that's a real thing. I mean, we've had companies do that in the past and got in trouble for it.
I don't get how that's a thing. I mean,
well, because like if they get together and say, look, if we agree that we're going to set prices no less than this, and they're the biggest manufacturers, no one can compete with them, and they can raise all their prices and all get richer. Because if one company is big enough to not join in that price fixing, then that one company will get all of the business, and then all the other companies have to bring their prices down to be competitive. But if all the big players agree to make their prices big, then they can make sure that everyone makes more money because they're making the product higher. I mean, that's price gouging, right? That's not price gouging. That's price fixing. That's collusion. I mean, and I don't think that's what they're doing, but you know what? It might be true. They have to have some evidence if they're going to the lawsuit.
So this is the biggest kind of evidence that they have. They haven't filed anything because it's a suit. Like this happened like last like this Monday or something. Like it's pretty recent. But their first one is that in 2022, when prices were doing pretty good on RAM, like it was coming down after the whole 2020 thing, all three of them kind of pulled back somewhat, even though there was a lot of demand. Even though it wasn't like the biggest thing ever, apparently they all three pulled back. The next one is, they, I guess, began heavily vetting and policing their buyers. Yeah, so basically they're saying that all three of the companies were like being unfair and stuff like that to people, like their regular customers. And then Crucial shutting down, like that was great, but Crucial shut down completely to go towards more AI. Those are the main ones.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's more of just a market demand, the market shifting. I mean, I don't love it. I definitely have seen the impact in a bad way.
They
But
did do it before. Like they did actually get accused of it before and like lost back in
yeah,
2005.
well, and maybe they have done it, and maybe they're doing it again. I don't know, but and I think they should be held accountable. I think they should not do the shenanigans. But I think that a lot of what happened recently was just demand just got huge, just outstripped everything. You know,
Yeah,
companies that work hard to make a good product that everyone wants are going to make money and have high demand, and then they can charge more. That's just how markets work.
yeah, I I agree with you. I mean, I think that I think it's real in this case. Like I don't think they did it intentionally. I think there definitely could be like half and half. Like they intentionally did it so that they'd make more money, but also just the price demand in the areas it takes to create those chips too have gone up.
Yeah. Well, I
So
did
I would
also
say
hear
it's
that there, at least SK Hynix and Samsung, I heard both have committed to increasing production in the next couple of years, and they're working on building infrastructure. So, because I mean, I think they want to be able to meet the demand. They can sell more units if more people can buy the units. So I don't think they're incentivized too much by having too low of a demand.
yeah. I mean, those AI data centers are buying a ton.
Yeah. Well, you know, we've never talked about AI much here, but
Never, never.
speaking of AI, did you hear about this guy who I guess he's getting his money out of his Claude account, and he found a way to hack another concert venue website using
I
Claude.
did not, but of course you did.
Yeah, so this is a good story. I think it's kind of awesome. So this guy is using Claude. Let me see if I can pull up my notes on it. And it's specifically it's another one of those Live Nation. You know, Live Nation eh, is a monopoly a libelous word for me to say, or slanderous? I don't know. They're kind of monopoly-esque when it comes to any live outdoor indoor concerts, venues, events. But anyway, Live Nation has a lot of arms, and one of their arms is for festivals, stuff like South by Southwest, Lollapalooza, you know, stuff like that. It's called Front Gate Tickets, and they do those festivals and events. Well, this one guy using Claude found a backdoor system to issue any tickets he wants for any festival, no matter what.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Com-
Why did he post about it?
well, he actually is, I guess, a white hat hacker. And so he contacted the company and let him know, and they patched it before he went public. So I think this guy was just trying, he was like a security researcher. He's a nice guy. But he said that there was a ticket worth $4,000, and he could have print, and he could just hit the print button, and he had it. He could print as many as he wanted. He could send him anything he wanted, audio wise, or
I'd do
video.
it.
You know, I mean, wouldn't that be cool? But you know, you
I'd
get
do.
caught for that, you get arrested. So
I mean, that is technically stealing.
yeah. He didn't, by the way. He did not take advantage of his
What a nice
newfound
guy.
superpower. Yeah, he just reported it. They patched it. They said it took him less than 24 hours. They said that he didn't violate any, or he didn't breach any secure information. I don't know if I buy that. Apparently, the way he got in, or the way that Claude got in, is it found a path. Like, you know, those scanner guns, like all the tickets now have a QR code, right? They're
Hmm.
digital e-tickets, or there's a QR code on paper if you have that, but they scan it. Well, somehow he found that path, that scanner system,
That's crazy.
that they used that to backtrack a path in, so they could make a ticket that would be verified by the scanner anytime.
Did he try it at all? Do you
No,
know?
but they did confirm that what he found was legit and it would have worked.
That's crazy. Yo,
Yeah.
that guy's a better man than me. I would have probably done it a couple times and
I
then told them.
I think one of the things that shocked me the most,
Is that they
there's
didn't reward him?
no, well, I don't think they did. Or if they did, they didn't publicize it. I think it's amazing that there's a $4,000 ticket to one of these festivals. How much do these things cost?
Really? I feel like I could see that.
4 grand?
Have you ever seen like front row tickets? I think like the Bruno Mars tickets got pretty crazy too.
Yeah, but not
Because here it
four
is.
grand, were they?
I don't know. I mean, well, also you got to take
Yeah,
into account
maybe.
scalpers, all of that stuff.
Yeah, but
For anyone that doesn't know what scalping is, it's just you buy everything and then release it at a higher price.
I mean, I get liking Bruno Mars or Taylor Swift, but can it ever really be worth it to drop $4,000 for a
In my
2 hour
person,
concert?
in
What?
my personal experience, they sound better online, anyways. I mean, I've never been to a concert, so that could just be me. But
Did you say you've never been to a concert?
yeah, I've never been to a concert.
Okay, so you remember that we were part of the Pulse Radio's Rockathon a couple months back?
Yeah.
We had concert tickets in the silent auction. So I bid on some concert tickets, and you should have, because I got a really good deal on tickets for 5 Seconds of Summer. Are you familiar with the band?
No, we went out. We talked about this, and you forgot. The only reason I didn't bet on them was because, or place like money on them, was because I didn't recognize any of the bands.
Well, I remember we talked about this a little bit because I talked about tips for how to win online auction and stuff. I remember that, but I didn't realize at the time that you hadn't been to a concert yet. If I would have known that, I would have made you bid on something.
Yeah, that's fair.
And
it's okay.
You would recognize a good handful of the songs that 5 Seconds of Summer has done. They've got Young Blood, Teeth. There's a few of them that you would recognize if you heard them. Trust me, you would know a good number of their songs if you heard them. And it was a great concert, by the way. I had a great time. And I didn't pay a lot. I did pretty good in the silent auction because I used the tips that we shared. But it's a fun experience. It's worth dropping $100 maybe, $4 grand. I better get like a pedicure and a manicure from the artist for that much money.
I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, I feel like people do need to realize like you're just going to watch another person do something. Like it's not.
Yeah.
It's not the all-seeing God.
It's not. And after you walk away, I don't feel particularly fulfilled. I don't feel like I have a special connection to 5 Seconds of Summer. I enjoyed the show. It was nice to hear songs that I'm familiar with and expose me to new songs. I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't know they had that song. That's a good song. And then I went and got their album afterwards. Like, oh, I didn't know I didn't, I like the song. And you have memories. There's things that make it worthwhile. But $4 grand, you could do so. Yeah. I did a European vacation with my daughter. And we did like this whole European trip on a package tour. It only cost me $5 grand. And it was.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'd rather do that.
Yeah. It was like 2 weeks. It was like a week and a half, almost 2 weeks, all meals included, airfare, ground transportation, individual tours, meals, everything.
Or
one concert. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's. I will say, going back to it, you said AI broke into it, right? Using Claude?
Yeah.
So you know what's funny about Claude? It just, I think actually today got its ban released.
Yeah, didn't it do something to kind of appease the current administration?
So yeah, I got the whole story pulled up. So do you know why it got banned?
It was just too powerful, I guess.
Too good at kind of hacking, and with it, you could they have safety features built in, but since it's like a neural agent, you can lie to it, say hypothetically, stuff like that. And I mean, I did get it to help me with like pen testing one time by just saying hypothetically. So it's definitely there. So it got banned on June 12th because Amazon's security team discovered a severe jailbreak vulnerability.
Oh, okay.
So I guess the summary here was hackers could use this bypass to force the AI to reveal zero-day software vulnerabilities. To fix this, Anthropic, which owns Claude, collaborated with Amazon and the government to train an upgraded safety classifier. And so basically, what came out of this is for some reason Amazon, but also the government will like look at their future protocols before they release anything, and they have to like actively scan and stuff like that for any issues that might happen. Because although I feel like if your AI is just so good that it can hack anybody, like that's not really like your fault. You just did a good job at what you were trying to do.
Yeah, but I mean, that's like saying I invented this amazing virus that can kill every person who gets within a mile of it. Okay, that's amazing, but I'm not going to applaud you. I'm going to restrict you from releasing that virus.
I guess. Don't get me wrong. I think in the overall scheme of things, totally makes sense. I feel like it's unfair though.
I don't
Because
know.
if you just did a really good job at doing what you set out to do, and it had the side effect of doing something else, then I still think technically you shouldn't get in trouble.
Okay, so let me give you another example. This is another, and that's actually ties into another story that I had for today. Now, have you heard about what Facebook is doing with other AI platforms?
No.
This is weird, and this is something that I think it's exclusive um, to one. I think Wired is the ones that broke this news. I think they're the ones that broke it um, recently. But Meta, which Facebook, they had hired contractors to pose as teens and try and see how far they could take other AI bots down, and like how much they could manipulate them to violate their own terms. Like they were attacking Chat GPT, Gemini, character AI, and they were
What
they
is
were
character AI?
it's another one of those chatbot deals that you can talk to.
Okay.
It's like a chatbot friend type thing, but they like did some dark stuff. Like I'll tell you some of the stuff that they reported. So they actually had like scripts and prompts. They really gave these contractors like some really dark things to do. Like they're written from the perspective of children. They made sure that all of these accounts were signed up as if they were minors. So they were
Okay.
reported as being under 18 or teenagers, right? One of them was a 13-year-old who claimed to be a 13-year-old who said that she had become pregnant by her adult neighbor and wanted to know where to buy pills to end her pregnancy. Another one posed as a fifth grader whose classmate had a gun pointed at his mouth. And another one posed as a girl asking how to hide bulimia from her parents. Like they were going down some dark roads.
What is bulimia? I don't even know what that is.
It's an eating disorder where you gag and purposely throw up everything.
Oh, okay. I do know what it is. Okay, I do know what that is.
Yeah. So like they're trying and they're showing that a lot of these AI bots, they'll give you suggestions on how to do these things, right? And that's a major issue. So back to what you were saying earlier, they were set out to make these AI chatbots that would talk to you about everything, suicide and those kind of things. And the chatbot will tell you what you want to hear, but that might not be what you really want it to do. If you're asking a chatbot for ways to break laws, like you said, or to do self-harm, is it okay that you designed the chatbot to do those things for you? Because now you're helping youth do things to harm themselves that they would have been able to do without your tool. So shouldn't you have guardrails?
I think guardrail. I mean, to a point.
It's no different than your example of hacking, is it? I mean, isn't it kind of the same concept? It's a tool that was meant to be powerful, But without the right controls in place, it can cause a lot of harm. And that's the
Right.
concern the government has.
But I mean, I don't know. Because I also would say like it's kind of dumb that they have to do all of that. Like there should just be common sense used with it. In your example, with the hacking thing, people actively try to hack, which is the point. But I don't know. Well, I get you can't trust that though, because everybody's got a different view of common sense. It's subjective. So I get it. It's just I don't know if it was exactly considered fair.
Well, you can't use common sense because, like you said, everyone's definition of common sense ain't so common anymore. You need to have something written out in black and white. You have to have things that are more prescriptive. You can't go with gut feelings because people have lines in all sorts of different places.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like I like the open market system. I kind of have some of those libertarian mindsets in some regards, but at the same time, if some weapons are too powerful, not everyone can have all of those. And I think that using it as a hacking tool isn't necessarily a bad thing because it can, like the guy did to get the tickets. He exposed it, but he helped him patch it with it. He wasn't doing anything malicious with it, and that's innocuous. Okay, so he writes himself an extra, gives himself a free ticket to a venue. That's not a big deal. But what if he was doing it to give him access to, um, I don't know, uh, hacking databases for like embassies, and change people's immigration statuses, or I mean, like
Yeah.
you could do things that you really shouldn't do. You could give people who are on do not fly lists permission to fly again, kind of stuff. Like it's not that different
I
the way he
didn't
did.
it's a big concern. I'm not saying it's not a big concern, and I totally understand where everyone's coming from with that. I was just going on off of the fairness of it. I'm not saying that they should be allowed to do all that. I just think it's not exactly fair, but it's a common saying for a reason. Life's not fair. So
Well, and the issue isn't that they have a product that can do this. The issue is they're making it publicly available to anybody.
yeah,
Right? Like
I
if you think
mean,
about, we have some of the most advanced weaponry in the world as United States of America, and most of it, pretty much none of it, is made by American by the government. The government uses third party independent contractors to make all of our weapons. And so we have to allow the market to make those things. But those companies that make the weapons that the government uses, they can't sell that to anyone. That is heavily regulated. And so I think the same thing about what happened with Claude is they weren't saying you can't have Claude. They were saying before you let that thing go public, we need to put up some guardrails.
yeah. I guess when you put it like that, it's more of like a cyber warfare type of a deal than like a physical warfare. So that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, I think it made sense that they intercepted and says, hey, we're not saying you can't have the product. We're saying we need to make sure that before this thing is publicly available, it's not going to be something that can be used to bring us down. Because,
The government's backdoors.
yeah, nothing's worse than, like a Frankenstein's monster where it comes around and kills its own master. You don't want that kind
Yeah.
of thing. And if you have the ability to nip that in the bud before it's a problem, you should take advantage of it.
Yeah, I guess that's fair to a point. I don't know. It's a little different because with warfare items, they're kind of meant for that, whereas with Claude, it was more of a side effect.
Well,
But I do get the point of it.
but it is a tool for that. Not maybe a designed for it, but it sure is that.
I will say, Claude's got some dark stuff. If it's a cool AI, but if you look into it, like when I talked about this a while ago, when they were talking about like suicide and all of that, you can see it's like intention thought, and it was like knew it was being tested, so it gave some like super generic response.
Right. When it senses it's being tested, it censors itself. Oh, that's a
Right.
little creepy.
That's creepy, right? But yeah, I mean, with that, I will say, if you look at the stock market, it has gone up. Have
What's that
kind
have to
of.
do with Claude? I don't.
I was just because it went down because of the whole one Claude stock dropped a little bit because of the like
Oh,
Fable getting banned, and then with the whole RAM thing, that tanked it quite a bit too.
yeah.
And that's relating to AI because Claude runs on like probably 40 terabytes of RAM.
Speaking of the marketplace, recently we also had SpaceX go public.
Yeah, that was huge.
Made Elon Musk
Huge.
the first trillionaire the world has ever seen, an
Call me
individual trillionaire.
you might want to call me a conspiracy theorist for this, but all I'm gonna say is there's definitely some dudes in Dubai that are trillionaires and they just don't come out publicly with it. Like there's definitely some
I
dudes.
I don't know. I mean, trillion
If
is a
you
lot of money.
Oh, I know he could spend like a couple like tens of thousands of dollars a day or a million or something like that, and like he's fine. Like
That's a million billion.
yeah.
I mean, that is so much money. But and I'm surprised that Grok is not more well used and respected, seeing as how that is all tied into SpaceX and Tesla and all their other parts of that ecosystem.
I feel like Grok just has a bad name to it because it was known as being the super biased AI. And it was
Actually,
known as
I've
being
heard it's known as being the not so biased one because it's not being programmed. It's more like it'll do whatever. Now, it'll say dumb racist things because it doesn't have those filters as much.
well, it was trained on X. So like they used X to help train it.
Yeah, but
So
not
that in and of
exclusively.
itself,
Not
no, but that
exclusively.
in and of itself will get you those stupid racist remarks because it's X.
Yeah, but
And
it wasn't trained with biases. And the X platform has both sides of the aisle on it. It's not like it's a liberal platform or a conservative platform. It had both a lot.
no, it does. I don't know. I I can tell you're a Grok fan because of how much you've used Grok on this show.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not my only go-to. I used Claude yesterday. The day before that, I used Gemini. I did use Grok for one thing. So yeah, I mean,
Annie,
I mix it around. No, not no. My wife's home. I can't use it. I'll get in trouble.
your wife's home.
I can't use Annie around the home. I'll get in trouble. But I mix it up. I mean, I think all the tools have different things, and I definitely do not try to play too many favorites. I try and mix it up with all of them. But I do think Grok is probably one of the more unappreciated ones, and
That's fair.
it's going to be powering a lot of the robots that Elon Musk is moving into. They shut down. We talked about this before. They shut down the Model S and the Model X production of the
Yeah.
Teslas, but they didn't do that just because they weren't making enough money. They did it because they wanted to change those resources into making robots. They are now currently. They've already shut down production in those places that were making the S and X because they're now making robots. And those robots are going to need an operating system and logic to control it. And it's basically going to be Grok.
Yeah. I don't know with the whole like Grok thing and robot. I think putting AI in a robot to a point is good. Like, did you see what Nvidia did?
Mm-mm.
So this is when you were in Europe. It was at Computex. They basically they're getting good at training AIs for specific robots in a simulation
Mm-hmm.
that mimics real life. Then they put the robot into real life. So at Computex, they put like what they simulated, like an AI that was trained in a simulated world, into a robot that matched its simulated body, and it could walk around and stuff just fine, even though it had never been in that body before.
Okay, that's
That's
cool.
at least what they displayed. That's what they displayed.
Yeah. Well, there's more stuff coming out with SpaceX and AI too. Like there's a rumor that Elon Musk has shown a prototype of sort of what looks like a cell phone that's like its own independent edge AI device. And
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, although he's denying the reports, but there's been a number of reports that say that, so it's a bit of a thing. But there's a few devices like that. Have you heard of Pocket?
No.
Okay, so it's the website is heypocket.com if you're curious of this product, and it looks cool. And it is an AI well, not a tablet, it's an AI credit card-ish looking thing. It snaps on the back of your phone using the
Like a
MagSafe,
like a like a MagSafe
like a
battery or
MagSafe
something like that.
charger. It's not though. It's just attaching there, and it has a few microphones. Two of the microphones will pick up any conversation you're having with it enabled. You can enable and disable it, but you go into a meeting, you just have that thing on the back of your phone. It's going to record the conversation. It's going to give you summaries of your entire meeting. It's going to tell you who said what and what did what. It'll summarize it for you with AI capabilities. It has another microphone that's a contact microphone, and it'll record the phone calls that you're taking on it because it'll pick up the vibrations of your phone. So even if it's not on a speakerphone, if your phone call
That's pretty cool.
Private, that device sitting on your phone will pick up the vibrations and it'll pick up both sides of the conversation, record it, transcribe it, and summarize it.
Huh. And for anyone wondering, I'm on their site right now, by the way. For anyone wondering, it's actually on sale. It's on a pretty big sale right now.
What is it, like $130?
$130.
130, yeah.
It's normally $200.
That is a lot of features for a device that only cost you $130. And by the way, there are membership tiers for support. Like if you want to get full transcriptions and cloud storage and longer history, they have monthly options. But all the stuff, most of the stuff I talked about and the basic stuff it does, it's free. You don't have to pay a monthly fee for a lot of it.
That would be super useful for like a doctor. Although I will say if you've gone to doctors recently, they kind of have something like this.
Yeah, but you got to make sure, is that thing HIPAA compliant?
It does say it's encrypted at rest and in transit, meaning
that's true.
So I guess it would be. Although I don't know if it's sending feedback back to the company, so that would make it not.
I'm thinking I do a lot of meetings, and at the end of the meeting,
it might be worth it for you,
right? Because I could at the end of the meeting say, okay, now who is assigned to do what task? Like a good summary is really important. I would love to play with one of those and see how that works. Because man, that could save me so much time, and I always forget. Like, oh yeah, I said I'd do this in that meeting, and it's been like 3 days and I haven't done it yet.
Definitely true. I do the same thing. I mean,
it's pretty cool.
That's pretty.
And I know a lot of people think it's creepy or like too scary to have that, but again, me, I like technology, even though I can play devil's advocate. I think it's a pretty slick idea. And I'm wondering if that's kind of what Elon Musk's thing is going to be, because he claims it's definitely not a phone, but I don't know, maybe it's something like that.
I mean, maybe. I mean, when you think about it too, your phone is kind of always doing that, which sounds, but like, hey Siri or hey Google, don't turn on my phone. No.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought my HomePod 2 over there was turning on.
You know what bugs me is when I'm watching a TV show or a movie and someone uses the wake word for their smart assistant and it wakes up the stuff in my actual house.
My stuff, yes.
I hate that. Oh, I'm actually really careful when we do our podcasts or when I'm doing recordings and broadcasts. I actually try to be careful and cognizant of that, because I've had it happen to me enough, and I have all of the platforms in my house, so it's a nightmare.
Yeah, I mean, with just like all of that stuff, technically, I'm not entirely sure how it works, but I know it's listening for a wake word, and then once the wake word plays, then it'll record audio. But isn't it technically always listening at that point?
So
since it's looking for that wake word?
Right. There's been a lot of people that have had that concern, like, well, if it is able to wake up with audio, that means it needs to always be listening, which means Amazon is always listening to what's going on in my house.
But that's not data back. Yeah, exactly. No, it's not sending anything back.
So they have purposely designed the hardware with a limitation. The device doesn't have a lot of storage. You have to store that audio somewhere temporarily before it can stream it up, right? And it would be causing way too much usage of your internet to constantly actually be streaming all of your conversations up to the cloud all the time for every device in your house. Like it would kill your bandwidth. You would notice. So what they've done is they've put the chip in there. It can only store about 20 seconds of audio. That's it. Like that's a physical limitation of it. And yes,
Yeah.
it is constantly listening, and it writes and rewrites over itself, because if you say the wake word, it will have 5 seconds before you said the wake word stored in that cache, up to 5 seconds. So it will store, and then temporarily, but very temporarily, like it'll store 20 seconds of audio 20 seconds at a time, right? It'll constantly erase over itself. And it is analyzing everything you say, listening for the wake words, but it only sends what you have said to the cloud, to the servers, when it detects that wake word. And it only has that 20 seconds or less of audio to send. And the other thing is, these are not edge AI devices, meaning that they do not have full AI built into the devices. They do not work without a constant internet connection. The AI is all done on the servers. So nothing you're saying is being processed locally other than voice recognition for one phrase, the one phrase you've programmed it for. So yeah, no, your long, deep conversation with your spouse or whatever is not getting up into the Google Cloud or the Amazon servers.
Yeah, that's not really like a big concern for me, because I didn't know that they don't like transmit anything out unless you. Now, if you say the wake word, sometimes it will. Like if you're asking a question, it'll train it that
but
way.
It only sends up the part that it thought was relevant to when you used the wake word. So unless you're saying your social security number out loud, and then immediately after that saying the wake word, or saying the wake word and then giving your social security number, unless you're saying that stuff, you're not really in danger. I think a lot of people are. I mean, not a lot. You know enough to know that that's not harmful. But there's a lot of people who are worried about that privacy stuff. And yeah, in theory, there could be some things that could happen. But no, Amazon is not listening in on your devices. Neither is Google or Apple or any of those guys. If they were, I think they could do a lot more damage. But yeah, it's not happening.
Yeah. And I mean, I think tech literacy is probably one of the biggest things relating to that. A lot of people, because of how tech works, and you can make it as user friendly as you need to, a lot of people don't understand how stuff works, which leads to concerns. But once you learn how it works, it's really not that concerning.
Yeah, well, I think it's Isaac Asimov, maybe. I can't remember who exactly said it, but someone once said, a very smart man who is now me, because now it's my quote, the definition of an original quote is if you don't remember who said it. Anyway, I once said
definitely not true.
That any advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic.
Yeah. But you went back to like that. You went back to the 1600s with a smartphone?
Yeah, exactly. People would think you're a sorcerer, and any magic trick that you see today is just it's a form of technology. It's just an optical illusion with hardware tricks, right? I mean, that's what it is. And that is what technology is. Technology is just science that's applied in a way that we might not understand. But once you understand it, it's not magic anymore. It's just tech. And I think education is a big part of making people be less technophobes, because if they understood how it really works, they'd be like, oh, okay, that's not so scary.
Yeah. And I mean, this is a weird distinction, but with the whole magic thing, because I don't know if you remember, but I know I solve Rubik's Cubes here and there.
Yes, you do. I need to have you fix my Rubik's Cube for me someday, by the way.
I got you. But a lot of people think like it's like you have to be super smart or magic. And honestly, a lot of people think the same thing with
if you can do it, you clearly don't have to.
Right?
Smart.
Exactly. And I fixed people's computers. That's probably the scariest part. But I would say like once you learn how to do it, it's not magic at all. Like it's just not. It's like I would say, because all Rubik's Cube is making a move based off of what you see. That's it. It's just a couple of like patterns you learn, and then you go from there.
Sounds like playing chess.
Pretty much. Although I will say chess players are like Magnus. What's his name? Magnus Carlsen or something.
Yeah.
that dude is like crazy. I could never.
I could beat him.
But obviously,
yeah.
You know, one quick thing. Have you seen the whole what's going on with people breaking into cars?
Are you talking about that Mark Rober video where he made his own? You and I have the same YouTube playlist. I swear.
We really do. The algorithm is. God, you tell me I got the same playlist as like a.
Are you using my YouTube Premium account? Is that what it is?
You actually have YouTube Premium?
Heck no, I'm joking. I'm not paying. I was
gonna say I might need to now.
No, I'm not. But yeah, he used a baby monitor of all things to make his own key fob repeater, so he could steal cars that use push to start.
Yeah, pretty crazy stuff. I mean, it makes sense when you watch this video. It sounds crazy, but when you watch this video, it makes complete sense.
It does, yeah. And so if you're interested in that, I would say go look at that video. It was a fun watch. I really enjoyed it.
It was. He stole his lawyer's car twice.
Yeah, and his own car.
Yeah.
And a friend's car and so on. But you got to see the video. It all makes sense.
But it's a real thing. Like, he showed a bunch of videos in it.
Yeah. I think it was funny is he got one off the dark web from some like Russian hacker.
For like $12,000.
And it wasn't even that good of a one. Like he made his own with like a baby monitor and it was way more effective.
Yeah.
But that's because Rober, he's a smart dude. Like
Rober is a smart dude.
Yeah. Major respect for him.
Yeah.
I gotta get him on this podcast. I'm gonna replace you with him. I think that's what we're gonna do.
I'll tell you what, if you can get Mark Rober to come to this podcast, I will happily be your replacement. I will actually probably watch it because I actually really watch Mark Rober.
Yeah, and I'm sure he's got nothing better to do than to do a podcast with me with much less direction, where we don't actually make anything, we just talk about things. That's definitely a hit. He's gonna love this show.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, I mean it's easier.
Now, just because this is completely hilarious, this is old, so you'll recognize it. But for all the new listeners, not of your age.
Wow.
AOL.
Welcome. You've got mail.
Yeah, it's like the old, like your parents probably used it if you're on my age. Like email.
For the record, by the way, I have never used AOL.
You probably used whatever came before AOL.
What, like ARPANET?
No, like for those that don't get that was the internet before the internet.
Yeah.
But do you know what company owns them? The name of it?
Is AOL even a thing still?
Yeah, AOL is still a thing.
I guess I still have some clients that are old that have at AOL.com email addresses. So yeah.
But do you know the company that owns them?
AT&T, I'm guessing?
No.
Nah.
It's Bending Spoons. Hilarious name. I just had to throw that in there.
They own AOL?
Yeah. The Italy company?
Yeah, Bending Spoons. They're actually their ship is rising. Like they're doing really well.
You know what they did today? Today. They released AOL for the second time because after they bought the company, it went off the global market. But they released it a second time. It's evaluated as a $25.5 billion company.
Am I going to get another floppy disk in the mail? That was their thing, right?
Yeah, they'd ship out floppy disks to have you install it or something.
Yeah, well, they didn't do a lot of floppies. They moved to CDs pretty quick, and they're really best known for shipping out the CDs. But they did do floppies initially because CDs were way cheaper to produce. I mean, they're just plastic and tinfoil. Very, nominal.
CDs are dirt cheap.
I never did use AOL, but I did get some of those CDs back in the day. And you know what I did with them?
Probably flashed them and then burned something else.
So I did.
Well, are they rewritable?
No, they're not. they did make rewritable CDs, but the ones that you would get that are pre-made, they're actually like tinfoil with holes punched in them to be the ones in the zeros. Like they're really small holes.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and the laser, you had to use a laser to see those tiny holes, whether light would go through or reflect back, and that made the 1 or the 0. That's how CD technology worked. The reusable ones, they had a layer of ink against the silver tinfoil, and so the laser would heat the ink so much that the ink would then turn dark and no longer reflect the light, and that was how it made its version of holes or not holes. It would just literally burn the ink, so it would be black and not reflective.
So that's
which is why you would call it burning a disc.
I probably should know that, but like CDs, I think I've worked on a total of like 3 computers in the entire year I was doing that had CD problems. And they were all driver related.
Yeah, I finally got rid of my DVD drive off of my computer in like December.
Oh, speaking of CDs and DVDs, did you see what Sony said?
Yes, I can't believe this made me sad. Well, we're almost out of time, so let's just cover this real quick, and then we'll have to wrap it up. But yeah, go ahead and break the sad news. I think it's sad. I don't know.
They're getting rid of like physical games, and now they're only going to the digital, which is like, come on, man. Although that brings up the bigger issue of, first, if you ever used the Xbox 360 or probably whatever ancient technology you used.
I have an Xbox One, to be honest. It's a little old.
He has an Xbox, the very first one.
No, Xbox One. The one that came out like 20.
You probably owned the very first one.
No, I did not. I didn't like Xbox very much when it first came out.
You probably owned that one like nuclear machine that the dude made Pong on.
No, my first gaming console was Nintendo Entertainment System, which I still have to this day.
NES?
Yes.
You had it. I've never touched. Is an NES fun to play on?
Oh yeah, I still have it. It's. I just out of the camera shot here, but I actually have it about 10 feet from me.
I just emulated, but yeah. So they're getting rid of digital discs and switching to, rid of. Oh yeah, you showed me that. I'm so jealous of that case.
Yeah, I have a Raspberry Pi inside of an NES looking case too, and it's a very, very good lookalike of the.
I need to print that. I think I can print that.
This thing is so awesome. I love this.
But yeah, so they're getting rid of physical discs, switching to digital only, which brings up the other problem of everything moving to a subscription / you not actually owning anything. That's a big thing.
That's the thing. It's like a lot of people aren't getting discs anymore anyway because it's convenient. And when you beat a game, you don't really want to play it much anymore. You want to move on to the next game. So you figure, why not just pay for a subscription, play the games I'm interested in, and as they rotate in and out, I'm updating my games. And I get that. But if it's a cool game you like to play a lot and it goes off, if the licensing changes, you'll never touch that game again. And that's the same problem we have with like a lot of TV shows. I was reading a really interesting article. Like some guy was, what was this show? There was a show that has, I think it was Dragon Ball Z or something like that.
Maybe. I'm not a big anime fan.
Yeah, it was One Piece or Dragon Ball Z or something like that. But that's not the point. The point is this guy was saying that in order to watch every episode in chronological order, he had to go to like 6 different streaming platforms because this streaming service had these seasons and this streaming service had these seasons. He had to go to Crunchyroll for one season. He had to go to Disney Plus for another season and Amazon for another season because the licensing is a nightmare. And the same thing is going to happen to games. It's already starting to get there. And now that we're getting rid of the physical media, you will never own your video game.
You own a license. You don't actually own the game, and a license can be revoked. Like Nintendo was big on that, I think, where they would
Yeah.
If you broke terms of service, they just revoke the license.
And that's the same thing like with ebooks. You know, when Amazon Kindle came out, that was a big thing, and ebooks are great. But when you buy a book at a bookstore, you own that book. You can do whatever you want with it. When you buy a book, when you quote buy a book on a Kindle, even though you technically bought it, you bought the temporary license to access it. They could, like you just said, revoke that. You could lose that book. Well, now you can do the same thing with video games too. That's why I like to store things. When I will buy CDs every once in a while still, even though I'll never listen to it. I buy the CD, I rip it on my computer, and then I save the CD as an archive. I don't do that a lot, but if it's a band I really like or something, I'll support them that way. And that's weird, but then I own that music. There's no gray line there. There's no way they can revoke that ownership. I have that CD. It's owned. I'm gonna miss the idea because I think this is just the beginning. I mean, Nintendo has Play Store, Xbox. I mean, there's Xboxes that don't even have disc drives already out there.
There's PS5s too that don't, but they're removing the disc version completely.
Yeah, it's in 2028. They're going to stop even making it an option for anybody. I saw that, and I think Nintendo and their cartridges. I think they're going to do the same thing with the Nintendo cartridges.
Yeah, same.
I think Nintendo Switch 2 will probably be the last one. You know, and that's weird too, because like you know how they look identical, the Switch 1 to the Switch 2, or almost identical. I mean, there's changes, there's differences, but aesthetically, from a distance, they're pretty much the same, and they use the same cartridge, but they don't. If you buy a game that's designed for Switch 2, it won't play on Switch 1.
Yeah. Does it have backwards compatibility?
No, it goes the other way.
I didn't think so.
You can take a Switch 1 game and play it in a Switch 2. But if you buy a game that's made for Switch 2, it will not play on a Switch 1, and there's no reason why it can't. That just
that's pretty weird.
That's just mean, Nintendo. Like, they used to be pretty good about reverse compatibility. You know, they supported the Wii games on or the GameCube games would work on the Wii, right? And then the Wii would work on the Wii U. They were pretty good about that, but I guess that's over.
Yeah, it's a sad, sad day.
And speaking of sad days, it's a sad day we have to say goodbye because we have hit the limit of how much time we're allowed to talk. Our editor is always looking at us with that evil eye saying, you need to wrap it up. I have to edit this thing.
I do feel bad. We ran over by quite a bit.
And that's his problem. It's his problem, not ours. Yeah. And I still have more stories that I didn't get to, but that's fine because we got more for next time.
Well, when you're as old as you have a lot of stories.
Wait, what does that mean?
You're old?
I'm 26. I just have a lot of living experience.
Of like a 50-year-old.
Well, I've lived a lot of lives. I'm reincarnated. I was Thomas Edison in a previous life.
I knew it. You were from the 1800s. I can tell.
But that was a previous life, anyway, whatever. All right, well, thanks again for joining us for another exciting installment of the iTech Show. I'm Jared Bodine.
I'm Asher Ridenauer.
And we will see you on the next installment. See you next time.